Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. In this video, we are talking all about nutrition for athletes and specifically for basketball players. So what I did was I posted on Instagram, what are your questions about nutrition? And you guys gave me responses. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to read through your questions, and the ones that I think are valid and will apply to most people watching this video, I will go ahead and answer those questions. So get out your notebook and get out your pencil or pen, and let's take notes and let's make some gains. Here we go. Question 1. By the way, this video is brought to you by the Athlete Nutrition Manual. I myself and my good buddy Tyler Miller, I am a sports performance coach who specializes in basketball players. He is a nutrition coach. We wrote the Athlete Nutrition Manual, everything that athletes need to know about how to optimize their nutrition so that they can optimize their performance. Macronutrients, meal timing, what to eat before and after practices, what to eat before and after games, what to eat before and after workouts, supplements, the whole nine. Everything is in this Athlete Nutrition Manual. It is free to all of my members. So if you are part of my members programs, it is free for you, but it is $17 right now for the next 7 days. After that, it's gonna be $50 one-time fee, but you can get it for a discount if you buy within the next 7 days, 17 bucks. Also, action is everything. The t-shirts are now available. But let's get it. What is the best food to eat before a basketball game? Great question. So the best food to eat before a basketball game really starts the moment that you wake up. So you want a good breakfast, then you want a good lunch, then you want a good pre-workout meal, then you want a good intra-workout, which for basketball players would just be like a Gatorade or a Powerade. Then you want a good post-workout meal. So let me break that down for you. In every single meal for basketball players and for people in general, just to be healthy and to have a lean body mass, just to be healthy in general and optimize their performance as a human being, here's what you want in every single meal that you eat. Complex carbohydrates, a lean quality source of protein, healthy unsaturated fats, and then you want some fruits and some vegetables for your micronutrients and your antioxidants. So for breakfast, you could have whole grain rolled oats. Okay, not the instant oatmeal packets, real actual oats for oatmeal. And then you could have blueberries in there for your fruit. Then you could put a scoop of peanut butter in there for your unsaturated fats, your healthy fats. Then you could do 4 eggs. Okay, and that would be your complete proteins. That would be your breakfast meal. Then we move to lunch. And let's say you are a high school athlete who is eating lunch in the cafeteria at school. So maybe you would have a whole grain wrap, a chicken wrap, so you have chicken in there for your quality proteins, and then you have your whole grain wrap for your complex carbohydrates. Then you got some lettuce and tomato for your veggies, and maybe they give you an apple to eat for lunch, okay? So that will be your lunch. And then maybe you could have some almonds for your healthy fats in that as well. So then you get to your pregame meal, okay? And this is depending on when your game actually is. If your game is later in the day, then you're going to eat another meal with complex carbohydrates, lean quality proteins, healthy unsaturated fats, fruits, and vegetables. But let's say if your game is at 3 p.m., let's say it's right after school, then that lunch would be your pregame meal. But if it's later at like 7:30, let's say it's a Friday night, you're playing the rival school, it's at 7:30, you're going to want another meal. So another meal when you get home from school with complex carbohydrates, lean quality proteins, healthy unsaturated fats, fruits, vegetables. But then 2 hours before your game, I used to say 1.5 hours, but I've been doing it myself and I'm still kind of full when I'm playing. So 2 hours before your game, the go-to meal is a bagel with peanut butter and a banana. And it doesn't have to be exactly this meal. It could be any complex carbohydrate plus a healthy fat plus a simple sugar like a banana. But I like a bagel with peanut butter and a banana 2 hours before my game. And then if you're a starter and you play a lot of minutes, you need a Gatorade for the simple sugars, for the electrolytes, your potassium, your sodium, in between while you are playing to keep you fresh and so you don't cramp and this, that, and the other. And then afterwards, after your game, you want a protein shake and a banana or another piece of fruit. Or you could do any source of protein with carbohydrates, but you want to limit your fats after the game. And that would be the best nutrition, the best way to eat before and after a basketball game. And all of that is more specified in the Athlete Nutrition Manual, link down below in the description for the plug. Which foods make us gain muscle mass? So there's a few things that I want to say about this, but the foods that are going to make you gain muscle mass are going to be your protein foods. So So this is your chicken, your steak, your tilapia, your salmon, your fish in general, your eggs, your nuts. All your protein foods are going to help you gain muscle because proteins are the building blocks of muscle. So if you're not getting enough protein, you are not going to gain muscle mass. And I think every athlete watching this should be getting 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight so that you can promote muscle building, you can gain strength, and you can help with recovery. So, but with that said, if you are not eating enough in general, then you're not gonna gain muscle mass. So you can gain muscle mass in a slight caloric deficit, but if you're too much in a caloric deficit, you're not eating enough, you're not going to gain muscle mass in general. So slight caloric deficit, maintenance, or caloric surplus is the way to gain muscle mass. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, eating the chicken, the salmon, the steak, etc. Next question. How to set up our macros in a cut. Okay, so if you are in a bulk, that means you're in a caloric surplus, you're trying to gain weight. If you're in a cut, you're in a caloric deficit, you're trying to lose weight, and most people want to lose body fat, but gain strength or maintain their strength at the same time so that their relative strength stays high so that they can jump and play their sport to the best of their ability. So macronutrients in a cut, the way that you want to do this is you want to be in the smallest caloric deficit possible. So the smallest caloric deficit that you can do to still lose weight, but maintain your muscle mass, maintain your performance, and try to even gain muscle, try to even gain strength. I'm huge on that. Try to gain muscle, try to gain strength, still go heavy while you're in a cut. Don't do a huge cut, okay? I would say a 250 calorie per day, 500 calorie per day at the most. Cut would be the most that I would do, but the smallest cut possible to lose weight, but still continue on with your sports performance in the way that you want to. So how to set up your macros, I would do 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Then I would do 0.5 grams per pound of body weight in fats. Okay, so I'm 200 pounds. Let's make this easy. If I were to get into a cut, what I would do is 200 grams of protein per day because I weigh 200 pounds. I would do 100 grams of fat per day, so that's 0.5 grams per pound of body weight. And then you have to play with your carbohydrates to see, you know, where you are, if you're in a maintenance or what is going to be a cut, etc. So I would do 300 grams of carbohydrates. It doesn't really matter where you start, it matters where you go from there. So let's say I did that. 200 grams of protein, 100 grams of fat, 300 grams of carbohydrates. Then what I would do is I would begin to redistribute carbs and fats into my protein. So I would increase my protein, but start to lower my carbohydrates and my fats as I go. So in a week, if I'm losing weight, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna touch it. If I'm losing 1 to 2 pounds per week, that's good. Don't lose any more than that. That's gonna be too much. You're gonna sacrifice muscle, sacrifice strength. So I would stay on that track. But if I'm not losing, then I would increase 5 grams of protein. I would decrease 10 to 15 to 20 carbohydrates, and I would decrease 5 fats. So then I would be at 205 grams of protein, I'd be at 280 carbs, and I would be at 95 fats. Then I would see what happens to my body. If I lose weight, then good, I'm gonna stay there. Once I hit a point where I don't lose weight anymore, I'm gonna do 210 grams of protein. I'm gonna do 260 carbs and 90 fats, and I would continue to take down my carbohydrates and my fats and continue to increase my protein. Because when you're in a cut, you need more protein, even more than 1 gram per pound of body weight. Great question. How many grams of protein do you take? What an excellent follow-up question to our last question. Personally for me, I actually am in a cut, so all that was pretty accurate. I am at 220 grams of protein right now. I'm at 300 carbohydrates right now, and I'm actually at 75 fats right now. That is personally my macros, but I'm getting more and more active. I'm joining my basketball leagues again, so my carbs are actually gonna go up, and I'm still gonna lose weight because I have a pretty fast metabolism. But to answer your question, 220 grams of protein for me is what I do right now. Thoughts on pre-workout? I like it. I like pre-workout. I drink pre-workout. I work out at 5 in the morning, so I drink pre-workout when I get up. I don't drink any caffeine after 12 o'clock noon. I actually don't drink any caffeine after like 5 o'clock a.m. But my rule is if I'm getting crazy, I want to be wild, I never go past 12 noon for my caffeine, because caffeine has a 6-hour half-life. That means at 2 p.m., if you drink a Bang energy drink, 300 milligrams of caffeine, then at 8 p.m., 6-hour half-life, 6 hours later, there is still half-life, half of that Bang, 150 milligrams, still circulating through your system. So you try to go to sleep and get a good sleep. You wonder, I got 8 hours, why don't I feel rested? That's why, okay? So keep all your caffeine consumption in the morning. Sometimes I do work out at night. I just don't drink pre-workout. Just stay disciplined. Simple as that. What should I make in my post-workout shake after I train? After you get done training, you really just want proteins and you want carbohydrates, okay? You want proteins to rebuild up that muscle. Remember, proteins are the building blocks of muscle, so you want some protein. For myself, I usually get around 30 grams of protein. I'm 200 pounds. And then you want some carbohydrates, and you can go a little higher on the carbohydrates. So I usually have about 50 grams of carbohydrates after my workout. So that's what you want in your, so you can take a protein shake. You can put, if you're getting all fancy, you can put a banana or 2 bananas in the blender, or you could just eat those bananas, okay? But protein and carbohydrates after your workout. Vegan diet for athletes, what's your opinion? So my opinion is that if you find some moral obligation to be vegan due to your morals and what you believe in, then God dang it, be vegan. But if you're doing it as a performance standpoint, I do not think that going vegan is better than not being vegan. I think eating meat is actually the best option that you can do. You can still be vegan. You can still be on a vegan diet and optimize your performance. It's just much harder, and you have to be much more calculated trying to get complete protein. Yeah, that's all I got. If it's a moral obligation, then do it. But if not, I think that eating meat would be the way to optimize your performance the most. How many calories in comparison to our weight should we eat to grow bigger, faster, stronger, more explosive? So it doesn't always work like that. One person who is 200 pounds might have a wild metabolism, where another person who is 200 pounds has a very slow metabolism. So it's not really in comparison to your weight. What you need to do is find your maintenance calories, how many calories you need to eat to maintain your weight, and then to grow bigger, stronger, faster, more explosive. If you need to lose body fat, then go in a slight caloric deficit, because it's all about relative strength. If you're really strong, but you're fat, okay, then you're not going to be able to jump higher, optimize your performance. You want to have a lean body mass, under 10% body fat, and still be strong and explosive as much as possible. So yeah, it's different for everybody. If you need to lose body fat, go in a slight caloric deficit. And if you don't need to lose any body fat, if you're already really lean, go in a slight surplus and try to get strong, try to lift heavy, try to lift fast, try to lift explosive. So try to optimize your performance with the correct either surplus or deficit for you. Is protein powder bad for you? It depends what's in it. If you get protein powder that's from Johnny down the street and it has a bunch of fillers in it, then yes, protein powder could be bad for you. But no, protein powder, it's not even, so it is a supplement, but it's not even really considered a supplement. Protein powder just has protein in it. It's the same thing as me gnawing on a chicken breast. Okay, so protein is protein, it's just in powder form. No, protein powder is not good for you, or not bad for you. Protein powder is not bad for you. The good thing about protein powder is that you can put it in a shake, drink it really quick. You can digest it more quickly if it is in that form, the powder form, and you drink it as a liquid. So no, it's not bad for you. If I'm 5'11" and 115 pounds and I kind of need some size, can I eat more junk than a normal person? That kind of sounds like an excuse to eat more junk, because that's what we all want to hear. But there is a point where if you are very skinny, that you are going to need to eat more. So you can only eat so many clean foods, okay? Clean foods are very nutrient dense. There's only so much rice and chicken and broccoli that you can eat before you need to eat a French bread pizza to have some more calories in. So first off, the first thing that you need to do is eat as much as you can of quality clean foods. If you are, as much as you can, eat until you cannot breathe. If you are not gaining weight, then yes, you're gonna have to add in some junk. And by junk, I don't mean anything like sugar. I mean like some French bread pizzas, some bagels, some things that are more fun to eat, but don't go eating candy and chips and stuff that is just empty calories that is going to do nothing for your body, okay? But yes, you will need to eat a little bit more. Is it okay to eat as much fruit as we want to? So fruit has gotten a bad rap because people say fruit is packed with sugar. Let me ask you this. Have you ever looked at somebody who is obese and said, I bet that person eats way too many fruits and vegetables? No, you haven't. Their problem is not fruits and vegetables. Fruit is not the problem. Eat as much fruit as you want. What is the best way to lose body fat and gain muscle at the same time? So body recomposition, this is very possible. It is very possible, first of all, to lose body fat and gain muscle and gain strength at the same time. What you need to do is be in a very slight caloric deficit, very small, and then you need to lift heavy. You need to actively try to get stronger, bigger, stronger, faster, and more explosive in a slight caloric deficit. You cannot lose body fat in a caloric surplus. If you are eating more calories than you are burning, you cannot lose weight. It's physically impossible. Law of thermodynamics. But you can build muscle, build size, gain strength in a caloric deficit. It just has to be a very slight caloric deficit. It's easier for beginners, easier if you're on steroids, which I'm guessing none of you are. I'm not. I don't recommend it. Never done it. Anyways, but yeah, slight caloric deficit and try to actively get bigger, stronger, faster, more explosive. I gained 30 pounds and lost an inch or two on my vertical. Will it go back up when I cut some pounds? Yes, it will. Imagine putting on a 30-pound weight vest and trying to jump. You're gonna jump lower than if you didn't have that 30-pound weight vest on. It's all about relative strength. You wanna be lean, but as strong as possible and as explosive as possible. Do you do custom meal plans? Yes, in my $20 a month membership programs, I do custom training plans and I do custom macronutrient nutrition plans. So I take into consideration whether or not you have knee pain, whether or not you are in season, the equipment that you have. I take everything, you tell me everything about you, your mother's name, your father's name, how much you weigh, how tall you are. And then I take all of that into consideration and I make the perfect program for you. And then I do your meal plan for you and I tell you your macros that you should be eating every single day. So yes, link in description. What do you think about BCAAs? I like using it to flavor my water, but is it good for gains? So protein is the building blocks of muscle. Branched chain amino acids, BCAAs, are the building blocks of protein. So yes, BCAAs are good for gaining muscle. It's leucine, isoleucine, valine that is the anabolic BCAAs that get your body into anabolism to promote muscle growth and muscle building. So yes, BCAAs is good, but for me, I just get my BCAAs through my food. I don't take a BCAA supplement besides what's in my protein powder, but branched chain amino acids are also in your proteins like chicken, steak, rice, not rice, chicken, steak, eggs, salmon, etc., yogurt, all the good stuff. So, but yes, BCAAs are good. Would you recommend creatine for high school athletes? Yes, I would. So creatine is good. It's the most studied supplement of all time. And all of the studies say that there are so many benefits. So there are benefits in your strength, benefits in your muscle building, and we're now finding that it has benefits for your brain and the myelin sheaths in your brain. So it will help your nervous system and it will send signals to your brain more effectively if you are taking creatine. So when you're doing plyometrics or you're trying to teach your nervous system how to be explosive, it's also good for that. So yes, creatine for high school athletes is a good idea. How important is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight? It is almost the most important. Okay, it's important for muscle building, for strength building, but then also for recovery. If you work out like I work out, if I didn't get enough protein, there's no way that I could recover. If I didn't get my protein, if I didn't get my sleep, and I didn't have, good quality nutrition, I would break down. I would not get good enough recovery from my workout. So it's good for muscle building, for strength building purposes, but for recovery as well. Don't sleep on recovery. How to be in a caloric deficit and not feel hungry. So first of all, you should not be in a huge caloric deficit, only a slight caloric deficit, eating a little bit less than your maintenance calories. But then you can drink more water, that will help, and then you can eat more nutrient-dense foods. So if you have a chicken wrap, stuff it full of spinach, or eat bags of vegetables, bags of broccoli. So with each meal, I would eat tons of vegetables, and that's really what I do to be in a caloric deficit and not feel hungry. How can I use creatine? Do I take it every single day when I work out? Yes, just take it before or after your workout, and that will be fine. Is it okay to eat late at night, does that make you gain more fat? So no, that does not make you gain more fat. It is calories in versus calories out. If you are burning more calories than you're consuming, then you are going to lose weight. If you are consuming more calories than you are burning, then you are going to gain weight. Doesn't matter what time you eat. You can eat right before you go to bed. That doesn't matter. Calories in versus calories out. But if you eat right before you go to bed, then your body is not focused on recovering while you are sleeping. It is focused on digesting. So I don't like to eat right before I go to bed because I want my sleep to be focused solely on recovery. So if you eat right before you go to bed, your body has to first focus on digesting that food before it says, okay, then let's go ahead and let's recover everything. Let's repair the muscles, the tendons, the central nervous system. So don't give it two things to do at once. Just eat a few hours before bed, then go to bed and let it solely focus on recovering. What is the most important thing missing from a young athlete's diet? This is a great question. I think that it is protein, okay? A lot of you, if you're not tracking your protein, you really don't know how much you're getting. So I would use MyFitnessPal or write it down, track everything that you eat just for a couple days and see how much protein you are actually getting. If you're not getting 1 gram of protein per body weight, you're leaving gains on the table. So I think that protein would be the thing that athletes are missing the most. And other than that, it would be vegetables. Okay, I don't think a lot of you eat enough vegetables, okay? And in the antioxidants, the micronutrients, don't sleep on your veggies. Eat your vegetables. Your mom didn't lie to you when you were little. The doctor didn't lie. You need your vegetables. So those would be the two most important things that I think young athletes are missing. Is 2 meals a day bad? I would say yes, if you're trying to be an athlete, if you're trying to optimize your performance as an athlete, yes, 2 meals a day is bad. Think about me, I'm 200 pounds. If I only ate 2 meals a day, I would try to get 100 grams of protein in each of those meals. My body can't process and break down 100 grams of protein at one time. I'd be pooping it out, okay? So 4 meals a day with 50 grams of protein in each would be a lot better than 2 meals a day. But yeah, 2 meals a day, I don't think you're going to be able to get enough. Your body isn't going to be able to break down all of the nutrients that you give it, even if you are giving it enough calories. So it is calories in versus calories out, but your body cannot take all of that in at one time and actually utilize it and process it and use it to build muscle. So I would eat more. This is going to be the last question. I'm sorry if I did not get to your question in this video. A lot of them were repeat questions. Some of the questions just weren't good enough. And some of the questions didn't apply to everybody. Some of the questions that you asked actually were good questions, but I just don't have time to answer them in this video. And this question actually does not pertain to nutrition, but it is. Sorry, it's not about nutrition, but I wanted to ask you, when is the new body weight program coming out? Great question. I had the athlete nutrition manual that myself and Ty Miller were doing. I had these t-shirts that were dropping, and I had a few other things that I was working on before I got to the body weight program, but I am now, my laser focus is on the body weight program. So it should be done in a few weeks. I could even crank it out in a weekend if I really get to it, but I'm a busy man, but I'll try to get to it as fast as I can. So within the next couple weeks, the body weight program will be out, and the way that you get this is by commenting JUMP down below in the comment section. Other than that, get the athlete nutrition manual, $17 right now, and after a week it's going to be $50, and it's free to all my members. Members programs will be down below in the description as well if you want me to make a custom program and coach you through it and do your custom macros and nutrition coaching for you as well. And the t-shirts are linked down below too. Everything is linked down below in the description. Like, comment, subscribe, and holla back at your boy.
I won't rest in peace in my hometown. I was built different, never guilt tripping. If it's hard times, learn to deal with it. On my worst days, yeah, I'm still winning. All smiles, look, I'm still grinning. Bullshitting, cause I'm still silly. I embrace the dark, look, I healed in it. Cause there were days I was depressed and wasn't eating. And I spent nights on earth just thinking how to leave it. To all the children struggling, just know you'll beat it. You're stronger than some armor.